What did I do to him? All I did was try to support some folks in a local community around Kansas City trying to push back on the nonsense about, sticking four-story apartment complexes in places like Prairie Village. If that makes me a bad guy, so be it. Call me what you want, a NIMBY, a cave, whatever it takes. I'm happily guilty as charged on that. But you probably have heard of the group Prairie Village United. They are a grassroots organization that has done a really good job in that community pushing back against a lot of the big spending, progressive approaches to city policy that has been happening in not just Prairie Village, but Overland Park and Lenexa and to a lesser extent Olathe, sadly, and other places as well. But because Prairie Village is such a tight community and a smaller community compared to those others, they've been able to actively organize against some of those pushes for changing zoning regulations and trying to, build new $30 million city halls and things like that. So on the flip side, you've got the progressives that have now pushed ahead with a new website called forwardpv.com. And they have created a domestic not-for-profit corporation. This was set up by a current member of the city council. His name is Greg Shelton. And you want to talk about a weird relationship here with the media? His brother-in-law is with the Johnson County Post and runs that. So you've got this incestual relationship where media members are family with city council members in a highly controversial community in Prairie Village right now. That's the kind of behind the scenes that I think you need to know about and matters when you talk about stories like this. So there are members of the city council who have gotten on board with this Forward PV movement, and they're basically just pushing back against what has become a very effective grassroots organization in Prairie Village United. And they have this big website, and one of the things they did on this website was talk about the show and take shots at this show. And they write here, PV United has tapped into partisan media platforms as part of their campaign for power. They write here, Pete Mundo, a MAGA talk radio host, has given PV United and its slate a friendly media platform. You know, it's funny. They have a screenshot of one of my posts on Twitter or X here that they have on the website. And of all the tweets I put out that have been, I guess, air quotes, controversial, this is the one they picked. It's me standing on the campus of Harvard University this spring when I went to visit my brother who lives up there in Boston. And I put on social media, quick weekend trip to Boston where I stopped by Harvard. I offered them the opportunity to give me an honorary degree. As a white, conservative, Christian, cisgender male, they rejected my offer. Sad! That's the tweet of mine they chose to highlight, which I guess makes me out to look like a bad guy or something. I'm not sure if that's what they were going for there, but I don't think it has the intended result. Either way, my support of Prairie Village United has nothing to do with who I voted for president. In fact, I've never talked to the people at PV United about Donald Trump in any capacity because those things are completely irrelevant to what's going on in Prairie Village, what's going on anywhere. You see, what they want to do is they want to create this world where they make anybody who is against them and their awful local policies and their out-of-control spending seem like some Trump sycophant. Mm-hmm. And that's not what any of this is about. I'm telling you, there are a lot of people I talk to in my own building. We've got 7 radio stations here who did not vote for the same guy as me in November of 24. But they completely agree with how their communities, their towns, and their counties have gotten out of control with spending and property taxes. So the defense mechanism for groups like Forward Prairie Village, which is trying to maintain the status quo, is to make it seem like, well, if you even think about siding with someone like me, or you even think that someone like me is making a good point, they just want to remind you that I also happen to vote for Donald Trump for president, as if that's at all relevant to the broader conversation on what these cities and these counties are doing to their taxpayers, which is not a left issue or a right issue or an independent issue. It's an issue of making sure that these communities are doing the right things by their citizens. And too many of them have no interest in doing that, and that's why they're trying to change the conversation. That's the game they're playing.